It is now officially 5 o'clock. At least CST.
Yeah, CST. Are we live?
Yes, we are live.
Alright, cool.
Well, hello, everyone.
Hello,
Hi.
welcome back to DokaNerds. It's been a bit, but we're finally back. And today is episode 5. And we're going to be talking about one of the other Dokapon games that never got officially translated or released. It's called Dokapon DX. It was actually a GameCube Dokapon game. And yeah, we're going to talk about that today. There's a lot of funny things about the game. It actually plays pretty differently to most of the Dokapon games and how it's structured. Like, I won't go into too many details yet, but like, a main example is there's actually no towns, funny enough, like some of the other games we talked about before, like with the world and kingdom. And also, you pick a character in the game and you stick with that character for the rest of the game. There's no jobs or classes in it. That's how it works. So yeah, we're going to be talking about that. And we've also played some games of DX on here. And some funny things have happened, so we'll share our thoughts on that, basically. No towns. Where's the value? Okay, we'll get to that really quick. So, basically how the game works is that you fight these red monsters, and you get these, like, eggs, basically. And at the end of a chapter, you open these eggs like gotcha, basically. And you get local items. Like, you remember the local items in the other Dokapon games? You get local items that give you value and give you a benefit, like an equipment. And each chapter also has a trophy in one of the eggs, and that's basically like winning the chapter, like getting a castle, basically. And it's worth a lot, and it gives a really good effect. Like, for example, the Chapter 2 trophy, what it does is it makes it to where when you spin, you have a chance to get an extra spinner added. So, for example, if you use a 3 spinner, you might get a 4 spinner for free. Or if you use a normal spin, you get 2 spinner, etc., etc. I think you get the idea. And I guess another example on, like, going back to the local items. Yeah, egg value or local item value, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. To give another example, you remember the zebra bandana in Kingdom? There's a local item in DX. I forgot what it was called because I translated it recently, but it basically does the same thing as a zebra bandana, and then it adds value. So
I think
basically,
it's one of the coffins.
no, it's a bracelet. I'm pretty sure it's.
Okay.
It's with the.
It's like the
like the pump stat one.
Yeah.
Or not a bracelet, with a ring. Sorry, I'm thinking of the ring, like the pump stat one. But yeah. The other way you get value is money actually, obviously. But you're probably asking. But wait a minute, money's usually not safe in Dokapon games. But in this game, there's a thing called the bank. It's literally just a bank, and you can put money in it, and you'll get interest on it every week. So you can slowly make money by putting money in the bank. But it can be really risky because if you put a lot of your money in the bank, like millions of dollars, people can actually rob the bank, like how you could rob stores or magic stores in like the other Dokapon games. So they can rob it, and if they win, they take all of your money. So that's actually insane.
Speaking of the robbing system, it's actually a 50-50 between the A button and the B button.
Yeah,
all shops, basically, you have to win a 50-50, but the bank, you have to win 3 50-50s, and the player you're robbing from gets to pick the combination.
Yeah, they pick the combination, yeah. And then the magic and weapon store robberies, they're also 50-50s, but if you win, they let you choose between a weapon or shield in a weapon store, and then a magic store. They choose between offensive or defensive magic, and you can take whatever they have, and you keep
as well as some items with it.
Yeah, and same with items.
Though, if you lose, you get a sheriff chasing you that is really scary, about the equivalent of a Darkling.
I also want to point out that he's immune to like most obstacles in the game. before you even get the item, so he can corner you in places you can't get out of. So, for example, there's a place where you eventually are able to climb mountains. He goes over them as if it's, like, easy, and it, like, maybe 4 or 5 several times. So.
Yes, he drops the sheriff badge. Forget exactly how 100% it works, but I remember it works very similar to the world, right, Nolan?
No, actually, it's just worth 800,000 local item value.
Oh,
It just gives you.
Could have sworn it did something.
No, it just gives you a flat amount. It doesn't actually do anything like that.
The best way
Like
to describe DX is, unlike all the other Dokapon games, you kind of going on like an adventure, collecting a bunch of stuff along the way. Where instead of like getting towns and trying to metagame values and classes, because there are no classes in that game.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier.
You're one character on a really, really long journey, and as you get this journey, you see a bunch of really cool rocks and accessories. You pick them up, and it makes you basically on steroids. And that's how much you can describe the gameplay, because in practice, it gets a lot more chaotic, because these funny little guys called Wallaces.
Yeah. He drops the sheriff's badge, which is worth 800,000 local item value, so it's a lot of money, basically. Like, yeah. Another thing about the game, so the character you pick, they all have their own field ability, and then they also get their own level up stats per level, and you get 5 pump stats to work with, is how the game works in that regard, if you're curious.
And each character have their own special abilities.
Yeah, field abilities. Weapon.
So your game plan is basically decided as you start the game. You have some wiggle room for strategies, but it's like, if you pick Tap, for example, you're definitely going attack, because he's getting attack on level.
Isn't DX one of the shorter Dokapon games? Yeah, it is. Dokapon DX is one of the shorter ones. It's pretty short because how the game is structured, and since you get so much pump stats and wiggle room with it, you can really speed the game up depending on who you play, and how you do with like the red monsters, which have the eggs, by the way. Speaking
of those eggs.
Yeah.
You can get a Wallace egg instead of something good, and then it just basically puts you in debt in the next chapter and gives them a bunch of money.
Yeah, which means you'll probably go Darkling, and to be honest, I think Darkling's pretty good in this game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And the reason Darkling's good in this game is because the only thing you really lose is your items and then your on-hand cash, and then you can just put your money in your bank, and then still go Darkling, and you don't lose anything, really. And then as Darkling, you can do so much stuff, like you could steal other people's local items, so you steal their value and get good effects, and hell, you can steal trophies, actually, as Darkling.
That's the equivalent of stealing castles, which only the Darkling can do.
Yeah.
The one upside to it against the Darkling is basically, in this game, when you give up, you only lose, like, 25% of your on-hand cash.
Yeah, the give up penalty on field is always the same. So people will probably push give up a lot against Darkling.
So you have to make it where every space is Darkling spaces, pretty much, if you want people to actually die to it.
I forgot, you can give up against Darkling?
No, he's saying on the field. He's saying on the field. So
basically, every turn you're going to give up on the field if you have to. That way Darkling can't come hear you and stuff.
Yeah. Basically, if you see a Darkling and you want to protect your shit, it's like, yeah, I'm just going to hit give up on this enemy because I don't want to lose my stuff.
I should also preface that you don't have to be in last place to get Darkling, necessarily.
Yeah, no, you don't.
You could be in first place, Weber shows up, and he's like, alright, just give me your money and you can be Darkling. You're like, okay, here's $10. Alright, you're Darkling now.
That is sometimes good, it just depends on where your position is at that time if he offers it.
Are you in an underwater dungeon and you have no spinners? No, boy,
might as well do
free
it.
movement for a week.
Yeah, The only difference is the normal Darkling you get, like the other games, is it's 14 days. The one Weber can randomly give someone who's not lasts is only 7 days. That's the only difference.
7-day Darkling's kind of whatever, but if you get lucky with it, it can be disgusting.
If you get good rolls, or if you're like how I was in our game area at the end, when I had no movement in that dungeon, I was like, well, I might as well do it. I have nothing to lose, and I can speed this dungeon up and just go through it.
You also get the guarantee no one wants to go fuck with you, so...
Yeah, then you just basically make it to where they don't want to go in the dungeon. So it's like, yeah, this is my dungeon, stay out. And then they don't go in. They just stay outside. Like, yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah, basically, one thing I'll say about the X, you need to be very adaptive mentality. Otherwise, you're going to get completely messed up.
I think it's also very snowball heavy.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Things do fall off, but it's like, it depends on how you're building. Speed falls off super hard later.
Speed is...
Just because of how it's designed at the end game. I'm not going to say exactly why, though, but basically, if you're planning on just using speed, it doesn't work at the very end game. And just how it scales, it doesn't work well. To give you an idea why, basically how speed works, if you have like double their speed, they're going to barely touch you, and you're going to almost guaranteed all the time hit them. So that's why early game is so disgusting, since you can just pump it up early.
Yeah.
But then once it starts evening around, where like no matter how hard you pump it, you're never going to be able to double their speed, it falls off.
Yeah. The other issue is that speed doesn't really do that much against field magic as far as hit rates. The thing that helps you is like the local items against field magic. Like, for example, the Chapter 3 trophy halves your field magic hit rate, so it's a guaranteed at worst 50%, regardless of your speed stat. It's really good.
That's probably the best one.
Yeah, a trophy's pretty good. It's either that one or the last one, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The only problem with the last one is how rare the effect is.
Yeah.
And if you're curious what the last one is, it's basically a guided warp on proc, and you can go wherever you want to on the map. It's a guided
Even
warp.
in the middle of a battle, you can just leave it.
Yep, you can just leave. If someone's PvPing, you don't like it, oh, time to leave, goodbye, and then you just go somewhere else. It's really stupid.
Heaven's a door.
I had a game where I was rushing to the final boss, and then Erie got, I think it was Erie. Yeah, he got the proc, and then he just went to the final boss, and he stole the kill. Like, wow, are you serious? He got the guy to work on you. We're like, okay. I'm like, that's really silly.
Yeah.
It was like, wow, he just got...
Since I was playing the HP character that can heal themselves, I pretty much was not gonna die.
Yep. And then I went for strike. Sounds like you can really snowball. Yeah, you can because
That's why Darkling's really good in my opinion.
Darkling can either help you snowball if you get it lucky from Weber, or if you're in last, it can bring you back in, and then you can snowball potentially.
Not only does it can sometimes give you like a lot of points, and you can just kill, because I think the max you need is like 100 for most things on that wheel.
100
is the most expensive.
And you can very easily hit that within 2 weeks. But also, the Darkling Wheel can also give you XP, and because there's no classes in the game, you don't really feel like you're being held back if the game gives you a shit ton of XP early game. Because if you hit the 50k XP thing, like Chapter 1 or 2, you could get...
Chapter 1, I think you get 5k XP per chapter or something. You only get 5.
It's 10 or 5. Yeah, it's 10 or 5, yeah.
But still, if you get that multiple times, oh man.
Like, even if you don't get the points to do what you want, you'll have the levels to at least like screw around on
then
the
you
board.
Can start. Yeah, then you.
The only bad thing you can get on the wheel is a full heal and get rid of statuses, which, don't get me wrong, can be good sometimes if someone's actually trying to kill you late game. But like early on, that does nothing.
Like, I could actually see late game where people are killing Darklings with field magic.
Like, I'm glad it's there for late game, but like early game, it's kind of.
It's not just that, but remember the build I had with Garamar in our first game? I could have killed a Darkling with my build with Garamar, like the magic I had and my ability.
Yeah. That's something else. Since you're playing characters, you don't have a, like, unlike Journey, where you have a preset ability for the whole game, your abilities are actually tied to your weapons.
Yeah, weapons have their own abilities that are different and unique to themselves.
Mm-hmm. And depending on what that ability does, your opponent can actually defend against it. So if it's an ability like doubles your attack, they can't do anything about it. But if, like, let's say it's a physical attack, chances are if you hit defend, you will completely negate the attack. Same if it's a magic-based attack.
Also, there's like a bunch of other ones. Like there's escape. Some weapons have escape on them.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if you're curious, this does not mean passives don't. This doesn't mean weapons don't have passives. They could still also have passives.
Mm-hmm. They're just rarer.
I just want to also point out that I still think Baby with an Uzi shooting at you is probably one of the best weapon abilities I've gotten.
Yeah, that was really funny.
Somehow I found out that scaling on it's actually really good. Even if you have like next to no magic against someone that has next to knows, like if you just have equal magic, it does like 60 something damage. So if you actually went with scaling it, it probably actually hit hard.
Mm-hmm. I could tell it was a magic-based weapon because...
Yeah, if you magic guard it, it doesn't happen, so...
Well, not just that, but it's literally like a staff, so it's like, yeah, this is that for
that
magic
being said,
players.
I do wish there were some physical attacks that didn't have an ability guard button, because it does sometimes feel annoying if you're like a magic user, because if you don't have any attack, then you get walled most of the game.
Yeah.
That's why, for example, one of the weapon abilities, which you should have got, Hero, was the one that knocks your opponent's HP to 10%. There's a weapon ability that does that.
And what is it?
So you can
defend?
They have to,
You have to hit defend.
So it's a 50,
So if you have that weapon, the AI will pick either magic guard or defend.
Yeah, then it becomes a 50-50, basically.
Mm-hmm. Which then means usually if your strike's not doing a lot of damage, you can actually press it safely, usually.
That's another thing. Strike is kind of a bad choice 90% of the time until you can wall off the options for the AI.
Yeah, because Strike's not as good as like Kingdom and what's it called? It's very risky. They like to push. They don't auto counter. Nothing auto counters with the game if people are playing, but they love pushing it.
Yeah, it's basically. If it's the ability, the attack that does the most damage, chances are they're going to press that button.
Unless it's a Wallace, and it fucking throws.
Wallace is just like, I love defender counter.
I love
just
throwing.
Whatever he wants. Yeah.
To get
he
people...
never presses magic guard as far as I've seen.
Oh yeah? Almost never, right?
Yeah, remember, so to give you context, there was a Wallace fight we did near the end of the game, and I was God Mamara. I had a magic, offensive magic got from Red Loot. I forgot what it was called.
Super Drain.
Super Drain. So basically it's Drain, but I drain the opponent down to 1 HP. So if they don't end guard...
And it full heals you as well.
Yeah, and it also full heals me. And he hit counter, so I super drained him down to 1 HP, and then I killed him next turn with an attack. It was really funny. Because I think the reason he didn't M-guard, he was afraid of my strike, so he actually countered, so yeah.
Yeah, you turned it to a 50-50, and he was more afraid of the button that killed him.
Mm-hmm. So then I hit magic and killed him, and then Hero was like, what the hell, why did he magic card? And he was so funny.
To be fair, though, he wasn't gonna get hit.
Like, keep in mind, he has, like, the Wallace had no speed, so he knew he wasn't dodging, so that's probably why he hit counter.
Super Drain into Quick Attack, yeah. If you guys are curious, you can't buy that, though. I found it in Red Loot near the end of the game. I just found it randomly. Because I don't remember if I had a skeleton key or I just had the D-Good. I don't remember if I had it or not.
Either way, you got it off at Red Loot.
I did get it from Red Loot, and I was like, wow, this is pretty cool, actually. I was like, let's try it on the boss, and it worked.
Speaking of the accessories, though, like, since we were talking about that key, there is some, like, since we were talking earlier, like, how the accessories add to your net worth, they have passive effects.
Yeah.
And one of the really good ones is the red key, which lets you land on Red Loot and disables all the bad things that happening to you. Like, you can still land on them, but they just don't.
But you don't do nothing. They don't do nothing. Yeah.
So Red Loot just becomes, ooh, do I get something or not? No risk.
Also, the key is worth, I think, like 300-something thousand. It's worth
330K.
Yeah, it's a lot. That's a lot of local item value. That's actually decent.
And there's also one for a skeleton, like not skeleton key, but a magic key as well. That way you don't actually have to worry about buying them.
As a blue key, and I think it's worth like 99,000. It's decent.
Yeah, and it seems very common since it looks like it's a 2-star one, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's 2-star.
So by near the end of the game, everyone's probably going to have at least one.
And yeah, if everyone's curious, the D-goods have rarity. They're based on stars, and that's how likely you are to get them from eggs or certain star eggs. Mm-hmm. And there's another funny mechanic we haven't talked about. So after you beat the red monster that drops the eggs, there's going to be this new spot that shows up that's a mine, and you can sit and mine to try and get D-goods, actually, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So you're probably wondering, oh, is there a downside to it? Technically, because if it's not your mine, you have to pay a mining fee to the other player.
Mm-hmm. 100 gold per week.
Yeah, also it's scale. So in later game, it kind of doesn't get worth mining unless you mine like really
unless it's yours, then it's great.
If it's yours, it's fine because you don't pay nothing. You can just mine all you want to mine.
Mm-hmm. And every time the starting percentage on getting something is 90, and every time you get something, it goes down by 10. But then when the week resets, it goes back to 990.
Yeah. Like basically, you do have a chance to fail mining. Like you get nothing.
So yeah, if someone's mining too hard on their specific mine, if you're fine to give them money, you could technically make their odds worse by getting something from their mine.
Yeah. Also,
but at that point, you're giving them money.
Yeah. Also, you can mine weapons and shields. It's just very rare.
They're usually cursed from what I've seen. Like, they have some negative effect.
Except the, like, one shield I got in the one shot.
Yeah.
Really good.
Like you either get a cursed weapon or something decent. It's weird. I don't know the pool on what they all give you, but cursed weapons seem to be the most common one out of all of them.
Oh no, a curse where you take, like, 10% of your HP and then kill someone.
Oh, not that. I'm talking about, like, for example, sometimes you're just legitimately cursed, and if you attack, you might kill yourself as one of them. They're varying in, like, downsides. Some are really bad, some are oh no, anyways, I take 10% of my HP as damage each turn, and it does nothing. Oh no, anyways.
Crazy.
And then there's a shield that just gives you way too much attack for no good reason. Like, they're all over the place.
I think mining is interesting because it adds a layer into the game where it's like, do I rush the game or do I mine kind of thing?
Yeah. I think Chapter 1's like the best time to mine for everyone because it costs next to nothing to mine and you just set up kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Usually benefits everyone just all a little bit just to get something.
Also, most of the map isn't bad for looping like the other chapters. Like, Chapter 5 sucks for mining, Chapter 4 sucks for mining. 2 and 3
Chapter 5 has some good spots, but they're more often than not good.
It's usually, well, it depends where it's at, Chapter 5. Like, the top right, it's okay. The middle kind of sucks.
If it's top left and top, like the middle, not exactly bottom, but the middle bottom is a good spot.
Yeah,
but if it's anywhere in the, like, bottom left or bottom right, it's kind of awkward.
It's bad, yeah. There's, also another interesting thing about this game. So, there is technically a town in the game, but it's a single town, but you don't save it. And the first person to get there gets a cool item. And in future chapters, they actually give you key items that you need to progress the game, in a sense, or help you with the map design. But yeah, like, for example, in chapter, I think 3, you can get a boat, actually, so you can go across the water. They give you a boat.
Yeah, you don't start with the boat like most other Dokapon games. You have to actually go get it.
Because the first 2 chapters don't have any water. Only chapter 3 does.
Yeah.
And then what's funny is you technically don't need the boat, but you should get it. But if you don't get any items like that were key by when the chapter ends, they actually just give it to you. Oh, and I think this is another important thing to bring up about Dokapon DX. Dokapon DX isn't like a world map every time you finish a chapter, you go to a new map, basically, or a new board, each time you finish a chapter.
Yeah,
So
you go to a different, like, island, basically.
Yeah, and it's a different board and everything. And new stores and everything. So, yeah.
Yep. And since you're going to forcibly in the new maps, there's a level catch-up mechanic where the star little slime enemy shows up and gives you a lot of XP, basically a guaranteed level up.
It's basically an easy metal slime from Dragon Quest. It's just a joke, though.
Yeah,
So
it always has like half your stats, so it never can really dodge.
I had one time though where I pumped so much HP I couldn't one-shot it because I had so much HP. That was
if you
really
can't kill your slimes, that's a sign that you need more offense stats at that point.
I was pumping too much HP, so yeah.
Yeah, that was hilarious when it lived.
That was hilarious, but still.
Yeah, there are times where if you pump too much into a certain stat, you actually make it a problem later in game.
Yeah,
because some enemies scale based on everyone's best stat. So if everyone's like picking their own stat, like one person's doing HP, one's doing attack, one's doing defense, one's doing magic, that boss is gonna be horrifying.
Not only is it gonna be horrifying, but certain monsters would be very annoying if they had more HP/defense. The golems.
Yeah.
I feel like it gets to a certain point in that game where it might be better to pump defense near the end of the game. Call me crazy.
Yeah, because you don't want to give them HP, and if someone else has higher defense, it's like, oh no, anyways, at least I get the benefit without making the enemy scarier.
And it's like, how much HP do you really need in that game? Like, you don't need
2,000 at most.
2,000's usually... It just depends if you have a pumping attack, you might need to go higher. It just really depends on people's highest stat offensively.
If you're vet, you actually don't want too much HP, funny enough.
Yeah, you actually want defense. Like, defense magic. So, enough HP to live a hit and then bully them to hell. Like, Vent's probably the one that cares about speed the most next to Garamaru.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Vent...
Because his ability is, like, I don't know what you call it, Soulfire or something? I don't know what you call it.
It, like, works like Soulfire, I'm just not sure what it's called. Like, translates.
Yeah.
It'd be like Afterburn? Or, like...
Yeah. Something like that. It's basically like, as you get lower HP, your stats get better. And when you're, like, at critical HP, you basically almost get, like, 1.5 or double your stats, so it's pretty good. But if you're only losing, like, 60% of your HP, you barely get an upgrade.
Yeah. But yeah, all into HP, OP strat. Pumping HP is good, but you don't want to just do HP because how things like level ups are.
It's one of those, if you do that, you're gonna have very long fights where people can just steal bosses from you. It's not good. Like, that's why early game as Luchil, for me, the HP character, I had problems just killing things efficiently, fast enough, before people could just do whatever they want to them.
I will say pumping HP a lot is really good, though, don't get me wrong.
It's if you're playing the long con, it is definitely, like, the best endgame scaling, but, like, up until that point, you're kind of just doing nothing.
What was it?
I don't see that big of a deal though, considering the way DX plays.
Yeah, like I've scaled at just the right speed. If I took longer, like chapter 5 is when you want to actually start playing the game for sure as the HP character. Otherwise, you're gonna fall off the cliff. So the only reason I came back is because I won that chapter 5 and got all the rewards.
You got the trophy.
Otherwise, I was going to be out of the game because someone else would have been way too far ahead, basically.
I probably would have won the game if I got it.
Yeah, you and Hero would have been too far, and I would have been basically dead last.
Also, if you're curious, there's actually another, local item that's very interesting. It's a ring, and you get an extra pump stat if you get it. Oh, it's so gross.
That ring is disgusting. You had that whole game. It's just, ugh.
I had it the whole game. I had so many stats. It was disgusting.
Like, you were, like, level 50-something at the end of the game, so you just have 50 extra stats, because why not?
Why not? Wherever I want to put it at, in any stat, because why not?
It might have been more realistically closer to 40, but still, because I don't remember what level you got it, but it was not that, you weren't that high of a level.
I'm pretty sure I got it in chapter 1. Like, at the end, in one
you were
of the
at most, like, 10 to 12 at most.
Yeah, it was really stupid. I was like, oh, okay, I get more pump stats, cool.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean much when you first get it, but, if you get that early...
If you get it and you can keep it, oh my god, it's so gross. Like, you keep it and level up with it, oh my god, just, bruh, it's so crazy.
One of the few, like, 3-star ones that are, you just want more over the trophies at the beginning, to be honest.
Like, honestly, the getting the ring in a 3-star in chapter 1 is better than the chapter 1 trophy. I'm gonna be honest.
Mm-hmm. Like, you want as many 3-stars as you can get at the beginning and hope it's the ring.
Because I'm pretty sure the ring is actually worth more than the first trophy, value-wise, as well. I could be wrong. It's in the Google Doc.
If I can go check real quick, but I know it's very close.
I'm pretty sure it is worth more because the first trophy is only, I think, 100k as well. And then, like, the chapter 2 one is, like, 200 or 300. Then it's, like, half a mil, 700, and then the last trophy is $1 million, of course.
Yeah.
Speaking of the trophies...
It's 58,000, it's half, but still.
That's still really good, though.
It's a better effect, so who cares?
Yeah. Speaking of trophies and funny stuff, we should talk to people about tell them about the really funny random event with the game show.
Oh, that.
I'm not talking about the weekly event. I'm talking about the random event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, there's an event where, at random, someone will just go in an empty space and they'll enter a game show, right? And they'll be competing with another player who is not on the same space, by the way. But they have to essentially guess what the other person picks, and there's 4 of their D-goods on the wall. And by their D-goods, I mean the other players who wasn't on that space.
Mm-hmm.
It's the person who landed on the empty space.
Now, as far as I remember, this is basically a 1 in 4 guessing game, because if the person who got the event gets it right, they basically win a shit ton of money. However, if they get it wrong, the other player gets a shit ton of money.
How it works, basically, if you guess it right on what they picked, you get to take their B-good. Which includes trophies.
Yeah, trophies can be an option.
Mm-hmm.
I think it picks all your best ones value-wise.
Yeah, it picks your 4 best ones.
Which is why there's 2 ways you can play that game. If you see that it's like a $1,000 D-good, you click on that one, and if they don't click on it, you just get a bunch of on-hand cash as the other player, or you give away a $5,000 D-good. Oh no. But here's the thing, that game is really rigged if the other player is like in first place, because it could literally be all of their good trophies, and there is no good choice. And you just have to make sure they get it wrong.
You just have to predict them, mind read, and hope they pick the wrong thing.
Because if they don't, you're giving away lots of income.
And a really good effect, usually.
So yeah,
you give them, like, the one where field magic's cut in half and you just lost that, that's, like, crushing.
That's why you
never
pick
pick
that.
It's not just that, but I think unironically the game show is worse for the person who got it as an event. That's really silly. It's actually worse for the person. It's better for the person who got picked on the show randomly.
Not necessarily.
Yeah. If they guess correctly, then yeah, it's better for who landed on it, but if they don't, then it's really whatever. You just gave the other person a lot of money for no reason.
Yeah.
Which is most likely what's going to happen. Unless they really don't want to risk the other things, and they're just like, here, have my 1,000 D good, and at that point you're like, woohoo, I got something.
The only way you'll beat someone in that, like, is if you pick the best one, like, reverse psychology. Like, yeah, they're not gonna pick the best one. Why the hell would they risk that kind of thing?
No, the scariest thing is, like early to mid-game, when it's shit like your pump ring and your 2 trophies, or a really high-value item, then you're like, fuck.
Yeah,
the saddest one would be like the red key and 2 trophies, and then like your pump ring. It's like, what the fuck do I pick?
Yeah, they're all good. Yeah.
Obviously, you do the red key, hoping they pick the pump ring.
Yeah, you just have to mix them up and hope they pick something that's not it.
Yeah.
there's some also really silly events. There's another one where there's a kid, right? And
him.
yeah, there's a kid, and you can either just let him say whatever to you, and he'll give you a random item, or you can do this DDR game where you beat him up. That's not a joke, by the way. And you're probably like, well, what's the point in that? So what you do is you beat the kid up, and if you beat him up so much, you basically break his glasses so he can't see, and he asks who you are. And if you choose another person, basically what happens is his mom will come in later as a random event, and they basically get flash action lawsuit, and they lose money. It's really funny, honestly.
You go into super debt, it fucking sucks.
Yep, it's hilarious. It's like, wow, it's like, okay.
And debt in this game is really bad since things are the economy is bad. So if you go into debt, you're probably doing nothing in that chapter when it comes to money.
It's not just that the economy is bad. There's not much ways to get a lot of money other than bosses, because again, most of your value is probably going to be local item value, which is not worth any on-hand money. It's just income, not passive income, but passive net worth that you can't directly mess with.
Also, that kid can give you a random D-good, which is disgusting. He can basically give you some really good shit or some kind of item. He gives you a lot of stuff. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's useless.
In the first game, he gave you that reveal one, where
when he gave me that, it's like, oh, thanks, I appreciate that. That passive kicked in so much and helped me a lot.
Yeah, it was worth it to not beat up a little kid.
Yeah. It's basically, what do you value more? You want something potentially good, or do you just not like someone who's been a bully the whole game?
I should also
just
preface for the beating up a child thing, you have to get most of it correctly to blame it on somebody else. If you beat them up...
Yeah, you see what you're gonna say.
So, something interesting is, if you click the beat up option and you don't actually hit them, nothing happens. They basically run away, and you don't lose anything. If you hit them at least once, they're gonna call their mom on you.
Yeah, because if you don't beat him up enough, he can still see, because he didn't break his glasses.
Yeah.
I think, if you break his glasses and you don't get a perfect, I think the more you beat him up, the better the debt will be on the person and the actor, basically.
Which is why if you do it flawlessly, it fucking hurts.
It's a really interesting random event. There's also, what other random events are in the game that aren't other Dokkan games? I'm trying to think of them.
Vents in there, the Robo-Assassin, basically.
Actually, there's one more interesting one. There's actually the Doctor in DX, and no, it doesn't work like Dr. Exile. It's actually really interesting. You can basically pay him to either do surgery on you or someone else. And if he does surgery on you, you'll get stats. If you send it to someone else, they'll lose stats, basically, for paying him to do it. And I don't know why, but he seems really common on the cell phone.
Yeah, if you get a cell phone, you're probably getting stats.
Oh, actually, there's something else we forgot to mention about this game. This game is not, like, hard, like, the RNG is not hard set in stone like some other Dokapon games, actually. It's more brain-based. I forgot to mention that, actually.
The only thing that's predetermined is your roll for that turn, if it's currently your turn. The next player's turn is not predetermined yet. It only predetermines it once you roll.
Yeah, because, for example, you could roll a 2, and then go to an empty space, but the empty space might not be an event. It could be a fight, or if it is a fight, it could be a different monster. And same
if you wait a frame later, it might be an event. It's just completely random.
And same with, there's a thing in the game called pink loot, which is 50-50 white loot like in the world. It's either good or bad. We did some testing, me and Erie did. And when he waited at different times, he would get different options in the 50-50 by waiting. They would not be... It's very interesting.
Something I've noticed as well with items, like this chest and period, is it's actually you get potential of 2 items, one on the left and one on the right. It's still predetermined, but you'll get 2 options. If you wait and try to hit it on the left side, it'll pick the left one usually, if it's like more in the middle. And same with the right. You're not going to know which one it's preferring, but you can usually rig it to get one on the left or on the right, but you have no idea what that is.
Yeah.
So if you see nothing good on the left, don't hit it while it's on the left.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, and that's why if you notice with the red loop, when you have the red loop key, it why it shows two spins, like two things going at the same time, is because that's how the game does it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're doing regular item spaces, the game's basically doing that, but it only shows one of them, and you can kind of dictate which one you get.
So it is timing based?
So, yes.
Yes, in the sense of on two sides.
You don't get to control the exact item you get. You either get the left side item that it predetermined or the right side item it predetermined.
Yeah. You have some control in a sense.
So if you see all bad left items, don't let it land on the left side.
Yeah, don't do the left side, obviously.
That's why I wasn't speeding it up when we were doing items. When I figured that out, it's like, I want you to basically make sure you get what you're getting.
That means if you hit on the right side, though, but it's doing the other side for the key, wouldn't you just get anyway? Or am I misunderstanding?
What are you talking about, the key?
Well, you said because there's two sides, right? And without the key...
Oh, the red key, how it works, it'll always pick the better option. Is how the red loot works. But you see how, you know how it spins on red loot? That's how it basically does it with every item. The difference is you only see the one that you have control of. So basically, if it hits the top right one, the other item it would pick would usually be on the bottom left side, for example.
So in that case then, on regular item spaces, what you should only do is you should hit it exactly when there's two good items on either side.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. And hope that it's one of them you want. It won't stop it immediately, but it'll go to the item that it predetermined.
On that side, the left or the right, basically.
Mm-hmm. And if it goes to the other side, that means it was actually, like, bottom left, and it usually top right then is the item it took you to then. So you have some control just by how it's placed, technically, but more often than not, it's just you're gonna have no control, but you could generally put it in your favor what you want to get, usually.
I think the roulette's also not predetermined. Like, that also...
Because I save stated on the same one, so nothing changed. I always could only get two items, one on the left, one on the right. It was always the same items. So there's only two options, basically, every time. And you just don't know what they are.
If you spin and you don't go to a roulette yet, can the roulette change based on when you land on it?
Yes.
Yeah, I figured. That's how it works.
It's not that predetermined. It's only predetermined once you land on it and you're committed.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking about since the whole game seems to be about frames in general.
So yeah, this is a game that can be very easily tasked, probably.
Yeah, if you figure out the game, you could probably RNG manipulate it like crazy compared to the Dokapon game. I feel like there's a way you could RNG manip maybe Roberts to a degree.
Yeah, it is predetermined to some degree, but it's one of the it's hard to I tried messing with it with the casino, and if you do it at certain times, I've noticed it really likes hitting low more than it does high.
You should talk about the casino as well in general. Just to be honest, because you can make so much money from it. It's disgusting.
Yeah, casino is high and low is just, do you want to make money the game? Like, Hero can tell you how good it is, because that's what you pretty much did on Chapter 5.
So the thing about high and low that makes it so nice is that, so it's a double or nothing system, and you can bet $1,000, $10,000, or $100,000. So what that means is, regardless of whatever one you play with, if you get a couple good guesses, you can very easily make triple, quadruple, or even 8 times what you came in with. And as a result of that, this is essentially a casino that pays out more than you lose, unless you're really bad at guessing, I guess. And at least one thing that's nice is that in the lower bets, the 1,000, 10,000, it tends to be more rigged in your favor, while on the higher bets, 100,000, it is more rigged against your favor.
Speaking of that as well, Hero, I found on Chapter 1 the odds are absolutely terrible in the 1000, so it's definitely chapter-based as well.
Mm-hmm. By the late game, they make it so that you can't really sit unless you have to play, like, really safe bets. Like, it's gonna start you off with 5, you pick low, it actually works, then you stop because the next card was gonna be, like, 1 for some reason.
Mm-hmm. When you're around the 5, 6, and 4, it's iffy.
I still remember when I had 1 and I picked high and I got 0.
Yeah, the later you get, it's more cruel. It actually just, I think when you get to later, it just starts picking, like, between the numbers you have for the most part. And it usually chills in the middle section.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, that did stop me from getting $1 million one time.
Mm-hmm. Like, they do that to make sure you don't go too crazy, but sometimes, because of how it is, since it's not predetermined, it's basically picking the card randomly the whole time you're sitting on the menu. From what I found with timing, you can kind of rig it, but I don't know the exact timing.
The card is definitely frame-based as well, because I've soft resetted and checked, and then it was like, oh, wait, that was different. That wasn't the same card.
Yeah, if you're save state spamming, you could just beat that game super easy with a shit ton of money because of how the game works.
You could just get all the money in the world and then buy what you need and then go finish it.
Which is why I think the task can break it easily, because you're going to go to casino, make a ton of money, then go back to the 100,000, make the max money, and just do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm. And then put it in the bank for interest.
Mm-hmm. And then you get a bank card, and then you don't really have to ever care again if you're just doing a task.
Actually, I still don't remember. If someone has your bank card, can't they just use it to do whatever the hell they want?
Yep.
Yep. They can literally withdraw. Not withdraw. Wait, actually, can they withdraw from your bank if they go there?
I haven't got to test that. That's something I want to find out. But I do know in shops they can use your card.
You can spend their money, yeah.
Am I allowed to call the bank to cancel the card?
That's what I want to know, too. Like, we never mess with it. I need to mess with it and find out. That's something I don't know.
I didn't mess with the card because how risky it was. Because it's like, wow, someone takes my card. It's like,
sometime I need to boot it up, put some money in bank, and see if you could cancel it, kind of thing. It's just more often than not, it's not usually worth going for the bank card.
But yeah,
I mean,
if people are wondering,
if you can cancel the bank card, that's actually kind of nice.
We don't.
If you can cancel it, it's great. If not, then I think it's one of those. If you get a new bank card, it probably cancels the otherwise. How it works.
Yeah, like getting a new credit card.
So all you would have to do then is get rid of your current card. They'd probably just get rid of both of them, I would assume.
But basically,
I'm not sure on that.
In the game, you can get a bank card for your bank account, and you can use it at the store if you want to keep your money safe, basically.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is people can PvP you and steal your card, basically, is the problem.
Yeah, and the problem is Give Up lets you give that to them, which is, and then they can just use your money, which is honestly worse than just giving up and giving them half your money sometimes.
Or at least if you had money, you can go spend it, or put it in your bank account.
Mm-hmm.
And at least then they have to... I feel like the card is kind of a scam, because I feel like if you need money that badly, you can just go back to your bank and withdraw.
The only benefit I'll give the card is if you only put half your ready money on it, and they take your card, they're technically getting less money.
Yeah.
Because of how the interest works on that. Because when you spend stuff with the card, you have to
pay interest. Right.
I forget the exact amount. I think it's like 10% more gold you have to use.
Yeah,
to get
you
the
have
items.
to pay interest. Yeah.
So technically, they take your card. They're not going to get as much, but you're losing a bunch of money regardless. It's just they won't get as many items as they would want, kind of thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But they don't really care too much. It only matters
they
for
don't really
like
care
a
too much because it's not their money either.
Yeah, it's not their bank account, so who cares?
That's the only reason I would see why you would want to have a bank card. If you put half of it on the bank card, but at that point you're paying more money to like keep it in this weird limbo.
So
which
you
is
should never use your credit
awkward.
card, just like in real life. Unless you don't have enough money to actually support it, then fuck having money, I guess.
The card is way too not worth it, because you're better off just getting more money or
it
just going to the casino and getting a little bit of cash infusion, then go use it.
You know what would make the card better, Erie?
What's up?
If people can only take it if they killed you, not on Give Up.
Yeah, if they could take it on death only, it'd be a lot better.
The problem is on Give Up, it's too easy. Then it's like, okay, I guess I'll take your card for you giving up.
It's one of those, I wish it was like a key item for the most part for you, but if someone got it, it wasn't a key item for them. So if they gave up, they could take your card. You could take your card back kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of wish... Well, in one way, I think it kind of makes sense that if you get mugged in real life, you do give up your credit card. It kind of
Oh, no, I do.
But
Yeah,
on the
I get why they did it.
On the same side of the coin, I wish you could just cancel it.
Well, we don't know. We have to test it. But
We have to test that.
Like, if it was something where if you went into the bank and you're like, I want to cancel the card and it works, that'd be fine. And they give you a new one, that'd also be fine. But if it's like, no, sorry, you already got a bank card, it's like, well, I'm never going to use a bank card ever again.
Yeah.
Yeah. At that point, you get all your money back. And like the one thing I'll say regardless, though, is if they have your card, you can at least go to the bank and get it all back if you need to.
You know what else
That's
you could
for
do?
sure.
If someone took your card, you just go to the bank and then take all your money out and say, fuck you.
Yep.
Take all your money out. And then it's like, well, okay.
Yeah, because that's the one thing I'll give it is you technically have, like, since you get back up so fast, you only have one turn deaths. Same with give-ups. So you could just go back to the bank and get your money.
Yeah, pretty much.
So at the very least, I know you can do that. But at that point, your money's not safe, and if that person holds onto the card for the rest of their life, you're just never going to be able to use the bank again.
Which does suck, actually. Like, having the card for disabling the bank does suck, I will say that.
But what's funny is you could technically give it to another player if you want to potentially give them money.
Or if you wanted to, like collude and say, hey, I don't want this person all their money. You want to share their bank card, basically. It's like, here.
Yeah, then the other person goes to the bank and everyone's like, shit.
Yeah.
Jig is up.
If you can't revoke your card, though, that's actually horrible. Like, imagine people just sharing the card and colluding. That is, yeah, we'll have to look at that sometime.
Yeah, it's a feature that was too iffy. No one wanted to bother with.
Yeah, I did not want to risk it. It's like, man, that sounds horrible. I'm not risking that. Sounds kind of
like
terrible.
you usually use all your money anyway, to the point that the bank card kind of goes pointless.
man. Imagine if I was using your bank card to gamble. Oh my god.
Oh, no, so bad. Wait, are you allowed to use the card at casinos? I forgot
That I haven't found out.
If you can, then yeah, you're never using a card in that game. Bro, if someone steals your card to gamble it away, that's awful.
They get to make a shit ton of money with no risk. That sounds good to me, Chief.
That is awful. I will give the game this, though. It really demonstrated credit card fraud very accurately.
Yeah.
Credit.
I'll be right back for a quick restroom.
But yeah. Speaking of money, we need to talk about how bad the economy is in the game. It's pretty garbage. Bad. Like, I think a problem, like, for example, is... I don't know why, like, offensive magic is so expensive when defensive magic is so cheap.
I think it's just a product of them trying to make a system where it's like... how do I describe it? Magic isn't too overwhelming, because magic multipliers in that game are strong.
They're good, actually. They're actually good. The problem is you don't have time to set up for it, kind of thing. That's my
you also
thing.
don't have the money for it, Jesus.
That's what I mean, because
unless
you don't have
someone's bank account, I guess.
Yeah. You don't have the time to get the money to use it when someone could just do a different build and speed the game up, because the game's not long. You don't have time to set up for it, kind of thing. And the sad thing is, Hero, I think instead of buying magic, you know, you could do with that money, go gamble at the casino. It's probably better, in my opinion.
Casino is really nice.
Like, you made more money trying to play casino games than playing a magic character, which is really sad, honestly. I was like, I'm playing the magic character. I guess I'm going to go gamble for now. I'll be right back. And then you went and gambled and made a lot of money.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's how you afford magic.
Alrighty, I'm back.
Honestly.
Hello.
That's like the only way you can afford magic in that game.
What, casino?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're talking about how bad the economy
I
was.
think casino was intended to be how you get money, I'll be honest. Because like even if you win it a couple of times at the higher value in the later chapter, it feels like you only use that exact amount to get everything you need, kind of thing.
Yeah, you use just enough to buy a weapon and shield, and then maybe magic if you still care about it, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of magic, one of the better ones you can get early if you don't want to mess with it is just get Drain early, call it a day.
Yeah, and it's not that expensive for what it is.
Yeah, it's like 5,000 or something. I forget exactly.
Yeah, it's really cheap. Or 15,000, I think, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was talking about while you were gone, Erie, like, the game has an economy problem because
definitely.
Because how expensive some stuff are and with how short the game is. Like, the game's really short.
Like, I'll be honest, if the weapons were more expensive and the magic attack was lower, like they were equal kind of to some degree, they would feel a lot better for both sides.
My thing is, I don't even mind magic having such a high multiplier as it is, because magic defense is so scary in that game. Jesus.
Yeah. The multiplier being high makes sense. Like, how the stats work in the game, it works really good. The economy is what ruins it. And magic defense is, like, the only reason that magic attack is so...
Because the magic defenses not only are cheaper, they ramp up too quickly, in my opinion. Like, Chapter 1, you can get an 80 in.
Yeah, you definitely need, like, a weapon skill or some attack to back it up. Otherwise, it's not good in battles.
And then I think an issue with field magic is it's really only good on one character, Rosoli. And then also the problem is how there's a lot of items in the game that bricks it. Like the D-goods and stuff we talked about.
Like, if you get the magma shield, you're not doing damage to it with field magic. Like the ones that matter.
It's so weird how much, like, they make magic nice and they told you, alright, the one magic character you're gonna play, fuck that. No. You're not allowed to hit
It's one of those, if the economy, like, the items are so cheap, and then the magic attacks not the magic attacks, the, like, magmas and stuff are so expensive, comparatively.
It's like the opposite of the world's problem, where everything's so cheap. It makes it so hard to be a magician.
Yeah. You need to be ahead. You need, like, regardless what you say about magic, you definitely need to know what you're doing if you're gonna do it. It is not a beginner-friendly thing. Because one thing that I'll tell you right now, Hero, that would have saved your life is, there's two shields in the Chapter 5 dungeon. One raises your magic sometimes, and one raises your attack sometimes. Shields do have passive in dungeons. And one of those shields actually reduces fire damage in, like, the first chapter.
Oh. That'd have been nice to know.
Yeah, that's something I found out looking up the shields. Like, there's passives on the shields. In the dungeon, specifically. Not all of them, there's, like, at least one. Like, let me look up real quick. I have the thing over here, let me look. I believe it's Chapter 3 or 4 is the shield I'm thinking of. Yeah, the Drillam shield. Occasionally your defense goes up with that shield, apparently.
Yeah.
And it's the best shield in that shop, so you can get even more defense.
You know what else? Something else we forgot to mention or talk about, I'm surprised.
What's that?
How the game actually has multiple different endings and paths, technically.
Oh, yeah. We still haven't got any of those because they're so strict.
Yeah. Like, for example, one is beating, the game in under 40 weeks, I believe.
Yeah, 40 weeks. You need 4 players if you want to do that.
You need 4, and you need to cooperate, or someone needs to snowball so hard you can't slow them down, basically.
If someone gets a lead, you agree to leave them alone and just try to beat the game fast, not worrying about who's winning.
Yeah.
Like, you don't necessarily have to collude, but you have to agree not to fuck up each other.
You just have to accept that they're gonna do it, kind of thing.
Because if there's another chapter, that does give you a chance to come back as well, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's basically a chapter, like, I'm not gonna say what, but after, like, there's obviously Chapter 5 and 6. You get you get basically more stuff to do.
Basically, what's actually messed up is it might be strategic if you're winning to slow down and not go under 40 weeks, which is funny, depending on how that secret ending works or additional content.
There's also the one, if I remember correctly, where if you get all the D goods, an alternative ending happens.
If you get all the trophies, you get something else that happens.
You need all the trophies, though, which is...
I want to see that. If I remember correctly what it does, it's really fucking funny and unique.
I'd be down to do that later, Erie. Like, we just boot up a file just to do it. Like, we're not
What's funny
playing.
is the game with Nobu, if he had just stole everyone's, like, trophies, he could have maybe have done it. Because he would have been so powerful, he could have went and fought the boss at the end chapter and maybe have got it. Like, he could have done that on accident. So it's definitely possible, but you need to be able to get Darkling at some point. And hopefully kill a bunch of people that have the trophies. Because if you wanted to play legitly and get that ending, you need to, like, never mine, and you need to get all the trophies. Which usually means killing the other players.
You need to do that, or you have to only go for eggs and hope you get the trophies.
Yeah, you go strictly for the eggs. You don't care about
go for the bosses. Yeah, you just go for the bosses and call it a day.
And if someone has eggs, you fight them and try to steal them from them. Like, even if you get a Wallace egg, it's just whatever. At least if you get all the eggs, that's all that matters.
Or you can be like me in our first game, where I just kept getting trophies in a 1-star egg over and over again.
Cringe. That was actually awful. Like, I'm saying it's bad, but Erie had it the worst.
Yeah, Erie actually had it worse.
Like, if Erie would have 5 eggs, no one would have 1, it's just like,
hey, the trophy! Hey, the trophy! It happened, like, what, 3 times, I think, in our game?
Yeah, it's just like I'm doing stuff, nigging myself at some points, trying to get these eggs, and the game's like, nope, you don't get it.
Trophy. It's like, wow, I was like, hey, what if I remember the first time, that was pretty funny, and then chapter 3 happened, I was like, hey, wouldn't it be pretty funny if I got the trophy again in the 1-star? And like, please don't say that. And it happened again. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
It actually
At that
happened.
point, I was just tempted just to hunt you down to get the eggs kind of thing. It's like, you're not allowed to have eggs. Stop.
No more eggs allowed.
I don't care who gets them. You're not allowed to have them.
No more eggs.
That's enough gambling for you tonight, sir. Yeah, kick him out of the casino, pretty much.
Yeah, kick me out of gotcha. Yeah, kick me out of playing gotcha, basically.
You pulled too many 5 stars.
Did we talk about how the eggs are random at the end?
Yeah, they're random.
Yeah, if not, there are random with the trophies in.
The
so
only
you
thing
just have to...
Yeah, it's not like it's labeled, hey, this is the trophy egg. And by the way, you can kill the boss and get a 5,000 medallion, so woohoo.
You can kill the boss and get a bad D-good, and then you can just kill one of the red monsters like I did and get the trophy in a 1-star, which happened multiple times.
By the way, it's also equally possible for the boss, if you go and kill the final boss monster, for it to also give you a Wallace egg. So it's like, okay. And the Wallace egg makes you pay every other player, and you just lose money.
Yeah.
So it is possible to get punished for playing the game. Which is...
I remember also in our game, I think, Hero, remember when Yuri stole the red kills and he got a Wallace egg, too? When
yeah, it's like, alright, I can stop him from getting eggs. Here's a Wallace egg.
He stopped me, he's like, I'm gonna steal that kill. Okay, fair. And then he gets a Wallace egg, it's like, oh, okay, thank you.
Well, I thank you, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the one mechanic I can't stand it in, is the Wallace eggs, honestly.
Wallace eggs like, you wanna make a strategic play? Fuck you.
That's the one mechanic I can't stand. Just, what were they thinking with that?
I guess it's supposed to be a comeback mechanic if one player's just steamrolling everything.
Yeah, but then it sometimes
the problem
is that's behind.
The problem is it's like, oh, when the person who's behind tries to play and steals it, oh, you got the Wallace egg. Whoa, that's funny.
essentially says, oh, did the person that's ahead fight the boss first? Maybe you shouldn't fight him. Maybe it's a Wallace egg. You just don't know.
I feel like
Stupid.
there can never be more than one Wallace egg in a chapter, it seems like.
I hope so. If there can be two, that's going to be nasty.
I don't think there can. It could be only up to
Imagine
one.
two people being in debt and the other two just being
I don't think there
ridiculously
could be more than
rich.
one, because that might be a situation where, because there needs to be a trophy egg, right?
That
Mhm.
too. Yeah, that might be a reason behind it, yeah.
It's one of those I definitely need to see the gameplay more to see if there is or isn't.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we haven't really talked about what necessarily all the characters do. We only talked about a few.
We should talk about
yeah.
some more in depth. Yeah, definitely.
Every
I got the page up.
Every character kind of has a playstyle to do them, such as Gamamaru, who gets speed and just 2 speed on level up.
2 speed a level, yeah.
Mm-hmm. 2 speed on level up and can use 2 items in 1 turn.
He's basically Kingdom Ninja, but yeah, pretty much actually.
The best thing about him with the item thing is using Cunning Disguise and a spinner just to get someone wanted.
Oh yeah, that's right. In this game, you have to use Cunning Disguise before you enter the store.
Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah.
Which, in my opinion, is kind of really gimmicky, but
it is.
Yeah, it makes it more unreliable, which, depending on how you see that, is a good or bad thing. But Garamaru's kind of like, what's that?
One thing that I do think that does work is the bank into Cunning Disguise, which, oh, Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
You can literally withdraw all the millions of dollars they have in their bank account, and then go put it in your own account the next following turn.
Yep, you pick the person you're robbing from, it's like, alright, you give me your money, or you're wanted.
You know what you could do? You could... Wait, could you, like, withdraw all their money, and then put it in your account, and then rob, and then blame it on them as well?
Yes.
Oh my god,
Probably.
that's gross. That's disgusting. There's a reason why Cunning Disguise is probably in red loot, and it's probably because of the bank.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be. And that's probably the reason why you have to use the item. Not just because synergy for Gamamaru, but...
Okay,
yeah.
Noman, hear me out. Imagine this of a fucking 2-turn event. Okay, first turn, you Cunning Disguise into the bank, and you take millions of dollars out. Or better yet, you don't take any of the money out, you create a bank card. The next turn, you go to the casino, and you do the highest money possible, 100Ks, and you just keep going for like several turns until they either cancel the bank card or they go and try to stop you.
They can't cancel it. They eat shit, I guess.
They cannot cancel
Yeah.
it. You made millions of dollars from one Cunning Disguise, and then you go put it in your bank account.
Then
If you can't use it at the casino, you can still at least go to the equipment store or whatever and say, hey, thanks for the new toys.
Yeah. But yes, if you can Cunning Disguise into creating a bank card, that is actually the sole reason for a bank card.
Mm-hmm. Like, there's definitely, like, Cunning Disguise is the thing that forces the mechanics on that department that definitely happen.
Imagine every time you create a credit card, it's a 10% interest cost. Now
God,
we really are playing real life. Jesus.
That would be awful.
You put someone in credit card debt? Oh my god.
Oh, that would suck. It's like, hey, I want a credit card. No, I don't. I want a credit card. No, I don't.
I feel like the weirdest character is probably Wee Wee, most likely.
Yeah. Like, sure, you're Alchemist, but 2 random stats every level is...
Bad. It's really bad and unreliable.
Especially
And
if
Tap
that's
is probably one of the best abilities, which is you can use an item and a field magic.
Yeah.
Like, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
Loot Chills is good, but it's so slow. Full Heal is nice.
Lucio's like Cleric, basically.
Mm-hmm. And Birkin gets rid of your statuses, which is actually really good late game.
Yeah, because statuses are kind of more disgusting in that game compared to other Dokkan games.
Yeah.
Like, Free Cat in that game is actually gross.
Free cat. It's basically stun.
Yeah, that's randomly activates.
I remember when we tested it and you Free Cat me from stopping me from fighting the boss. And then I landed on it and I fought it. It's like, well, what the hell? What a scam. And then I hit myself and you're like, oh, that's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, this free cat's literally worthless. Hit yourself. Wait. Oh.
Wait a second.
And what was sad was Yuri killed the boss and then I still got the trophy. And then you were still upset.
Yeah.
Still upset anyways. Didn't matter.
I tried so hard, but got so far.
Oh, I forgot to also, because there's a lot of different things in this game. I think another thing I forgot to mention was the weapons. How they actually have brands, which are funny.
Oh yeah, that we did talk about.
Yeah. Basically, they have different brands, and there's a few things they do. One thing is, but the shield does as well. For example, there's a blue one called Blue Rockets, and if you're in water, you actually get a boost, like a percentage boost to your attack or defense, like weapon or shield. There's also a random event from president of a company, and it'll basically give you a brand deal to where, hey, if you use it, you just get money for your salary at the end of the week.
Then once that's activated, he can actually come back and give you a commercial, which will increase your salary by a shit ton.
Also, it's rare, but sometimes he'll just straight up give you a new weapon for the commercial.
Hey, of that brand.
Yeah, he's like, hey, use this weapon for the commercial. It's free on the house, basically.
Like, hey, you want this rare, like, spear that I have here?
You just gotta use
it's
the
so
commercial.
good.
Yeah.
Yep, just take it.
So yeah, commercial. That's all that matters. It's pretty cool.
And even if you fail like the commercial, they're not gonna take the weapon back, which is funny.
Yeah. There's also other ones like there's the red one for mountains. I forgot what the brand was called for the
Wild Red.
Wild Red, yeah. Then there's remind me.
Green Grass.
That's for
Yellow Toy.
Yellow Toy is like plain.
And then Silver Cross.
And then Silver Cross is like castles or like dungeons, like stone, basically.
There's one more, I believe, and it's something cloth. But we haven't seen it. It's a special like brand from like drops, I guess.
Isn't Silver Cross shield only, or was there Silver Cross weapons? I forgot.
There is. There's like 1 or 2 swords.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and if people are curious, Guts is in this game, and he works like world. But what happens is when he upgrades your weapon, he actually removes the brand. Actually, it becomes his brand, which is interesting. Guts brand,
which is good and bad.
Yeah,
depending on how you look at it.
It depends how much he gives you. Like for example, if he gives you as much as he did in the game we didn't finish, Erie. Oh my god.
The brand's losing isn't that big of a deal if you're not using it for the brand, like for the field bonus. Because oh no, get guaranteed attack instead of situational attack. If he upgrades it twice, his weapon is just strictly better usually.
Yeah, like for example, in the game, me and Erie, we played a game we didn't finish. I was Gamamaru, and I got Guts like right after buying the best weapon in Chapter 1. Oh, plus 15 attack. Alright, cool. That's pretty nice, honestly. And then
shows up again. Here's 17 more attack. Why not?
17. Oh yeah, it was 17. I was like, what the hell? 17? I was like, what?
So not only had the best weapon, which was like 19 or something at the time, your weapon's like in the 50s. You were good until Chapter 3.
Yeah,
like,
it was
all the way through Chapter 3. You just need a new weapon at Chapter 4 if you wanted. Like, you can still get a better weapon in Chapter 3, but it's like, you didn't need to get it. You were just set.
Yeah. Yeah, that game, we didn't finish it. Man, it was being rude. It was being rude to you and just rigged for me.
Yeah, that was just... That just sometimes happens to Dokapon. It just picks favorites and just it becomes a fucking shit show.
We should talk about how rude the bosses can be in the game. Like, oh my god,
that game, like, perfect example of like being rude, like at the dungeon.
Yeah. So basically, Yuri was trying in the game we were just talking about. Yuri was trying to beat the Chapter 1 boss, but he landed on a trap. It was a sleepy time trap.
Mm-hmm.
And then Wallace used psychokinesis on me, hit me, and then put me on top of Eerie when he was sleeping.
Mm-hmm. Right at the end of the dungeon, right where the boss is.
And I want to mention, I wasn't even in the dungeon. He can psychokinesis you from outside, by the way.
Mm-hmm. I put all this effort, decided not to mine, and then it's like, here, guy who didn't give a shit, here, go at the end of the dungeon and kill this player.
And you get 3 levels. And I get 3 levels.
Yeah, because I've been fighting stronger enemies, so I'm higher level. Like, my one advantage over you is I had some stats. If I just got to the next chapter with more stats, maybe I could do things. But no, here, have all his levels.
And I get to kill the boss, too.
Mm-hmm. Because you're guaranteed going to win with that stupid weapon you got earlier.
Yeah. The boss can do other mean stuff, like, he can, I'm pretty sure he can take someone's Darkling contract and then use it on someone else.
Yes, he can use items on other people.
Including a Darkling contract.
Mm-hmm. Which is just why.
I remember when he took, was it yours or Hero's Darkling contract, and he tried to use it on one of us, and he missed.
Mm-hmm.
It missed, though.
Also, I believe there's an item that can also do that as well. One of the mystery can also do that.
Mystery can turn someone into Darkling. Yeah, that can happen with Mystery.
Mystery is hilarious in that game.
Yeah, what Mystery can do, you all get the poo head prank.
That fucking sucks. Like, you get this stupid animation that has to happen at the beginning all the time. I don't know what it says in Japanese, but Japanese text pops up and all you hear is and that's just happening every turn for the rest of the game.
It's every turn, and it wastes your time, basically.
It is so annoying. It's funny for like a good 3 turns, and after that you realize, oh shit, this is the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And you can't go to the church and get rid of it. You need to get a special item that drops
pranks. That's really
yeah.
Way.
You have to get a fucking monkey that you don't want to see that's painful to kill if you don't have magic to fucking show up just where you can get rid of the prank. Like, why?
You need an item or the miracle serum heals it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Because miracle serum heals everything in the game.
Yeah. It's why Shiro got rid of it, because he just killed the monkey.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that was so bad.
Speaking of the monkeys, actually, since we're talking about them, they spawn, like, everywhere. And I mean everywhere, as far as I'm aware.
The only chapter that I don't think they spawn is the first one.
Yeah. They might not spawn first chapter, but just because you're in the mountains, don't think a monkey's not going to show up.
Yeah, you just get a chimpy, yeah, and get Z-Plague.
The forest is definitely where they spawn more likely, but they can go wherever they please. Just assume they're just part of the game in Chapter 2 and 3 and onwards.
Yeah.
So regardless of what you think about magic, you should at least have a magic that can kill if you're worried about, like, certain things.
Yeah.
Unless you have a reason to keep the one you have, like Drain, for example. It's just you're going to have to accept you have to give up against the monkeys since they have, like, triple your speed and you're never going to hit them.
Mm-hmm. Or you just get...
And I mean it. They always do. They scale off the player they're fighting, which is 3 times your speed, which is, yeah.
Or you do what I did and just hit them because speed's a scam anyways.
Yeah, speed. Like, that speed is definitely a scam, but it's not, like, it's one of those... How to put it? You definitely want to have speed, but, like, you still have the chance to fuck up or hit. It's never 100% in DX.
Yeah.
You always have the bare minimum. I think it's a 10% chance to hit.
Mm-hmm. What were we, what was it we were talking about earlier before the chimpies and the other thing? Because there was something else I was going to say. Oh yeah, the Wallaces, like the stuff they've done, like the bosses have done.
Oh, yeah.
Darkling. Oh yeah, there's another time also. Okay, so Eerie was Darkling. and then Hero was doing something. I think he's doing casino, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to
Oh,
go
this
rob.
story.
Yeah, and then I went to go rob. I failed the robbery, so the sheriff went after me. And by the way, the sheriff's like an NPC that follows you on the map. So you can target him with steel magic and stuff. Then the Wallace used psychokinesis. He missed me, he hit the sheriff and Hero, and then he put him on top of Early as a Darkling.
That was
Yeah.
awful.
I'll just say this, Hero. Good thing the sheriff got hit by that. Otherwise, you would have had to fight me. That would have been worse. So at least you got to fight the sheriff.
And
It's still bad, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
I can't believe he missed me as the sheriff.
Yeah, then once the hero was gone, then the sheriff had to get out of the dungeon to try and go back to you.
That was funny. He's trying to see get out of the dungeon, come get me.
You pretty much just got a free robbery because of Wallace.
Yeah, he's like, hey, you remember that robbery? You don't have to worry about the sheriff anymore. I feel like that dodge is based off your speed, though. Like with boxing.
I'll say one thing. I think remember, you had the trophy that cut the hit rate in half.
Oh, yeah, well. That definitely helped. That 100%.
Yeah, so that's why you probably dodged it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because Wallace definitely has, like, really bad speed, so his shit usually misses, but it's, like, still an 80 or 70% chance.
He was missing.
So it's very consistent. He was constantly missing you, so it's probably like a 35 or a 30.
Mm-hmm. Then you
another reason why speed's kind of in this game is there's some magics that are just guaranteed 100%, regardless of what you do. I forget what all ones that do that, but psychokinesis is one of them. So yeah, you're not getting away from people. So if someone's going a magic build, I'm sorry, if they want to fight you, they'll fight you.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Imagine if you could buy psychokinesis, that'd be disgusting.
Yeah. Honestly, if you wanted to make speed work in that game, like since Garmar is so good at it, you definitely don't hit the counter button.
Yeah.
Just because, like, you need to defend the abilities that can fuck you.
What? Speed is the best stat in the game, not in DX. I think speed's okay in this game.
Speed's the best stat early, HP's the best stat late.
You know what's crazy, though? I feel like you can almost make a case for attack being the best in DX. It's so good in
Yeah. All I can say is, like, early and late, like, attack is the most consistent, speed is the best early, HP's definitely the best later.
I think attack is good the whole game. Consistent.
The only reason I would say attack's kind of at end is because you get that one shield that just kind of, you don't care about your attack stat anymore.
Yeah, but for, like, beginning game and most of the game, also, if you don't get the key anyways kind of thing, and you never get it, it's important.
Yeah, someone's gonna get it, but you have to plan for it if you don't get it.
Unless you
want, you can get it for free like you did for mining.
Yeah, that happens.
Because there's definitely, like, lockboxes you can use to make up for your attack stat being low at the end of the game. Because there's a really good sword and shield in that one dungeon at the end.
Yeah. There's that, like, katana weapon. I forgot what it was called. That was really funny. Yeah,
it's really good. It had, like, 200-something attack. Like, it's really good.
I forgot what its ability was. Its ability was really funny.
It does a fancy animation and does a slash, like, 3 times or something. It's just a damage ability.
Mm-hmm. It blows a horn, too, like a war horn. It's hilarious.
Mm-hmm. It's about as strong as Strike is, so it becomes a 50-50. And the thing about weapon abilities that are based on where your opponent needs to press defend, your speed does not matter in that department. It just depends whether they press the right button.
You don't push the button to block it, abilities will hit you, guaranteed.
Mm-hmm. So you definitely, if you're building, you need, like, if you're going magic or attack, you need to pick the one ability that makes the most sense. And attack, the reason why attack is weird is because, to be honest, you're kind of just hoping you can kill in one hit, because a lot of the abilities you want to use really don't do anything unless you have magic for the magic ability ones, because they don't hit that hard. That's my only problem with it. I need to look at more of the weapon abilities overall, but, like, The one that I think is probably the better one for attack builds is the one that doubles your attack. You would definitely turn everything into a turn fight, with 2-turn fight with that ability.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the equipment really changes how you play that game. I love it just for that.
Yeah, because there's some abilities that can really change things up, like with some of the spears that do 90% damage, which is crazy.
Yeah, like, that is so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the later shops, you can just put status conditions on the opponent.
Yeah. I think, but yeah, attack's pretty good.
Also,
I think...
Hero.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's up?
Chapter 4, there's a bow that doubles your magic. You would have probably loved that.
Oh, I wish I would have known what that was.
It's the second weapon in the Chapter 4 one in the overworld.
Does it do it passively, or is its ability?
Its ability. Your opponent can't do anything about it.
I was just curious. I was asking...
Actually, I don't remember that. I remember using it. What?
Oh, okay.
I just don't remember keeping it for some reason.
Probably because you wanted something else. Because
we
you
tested
wanted
every chapter weapon after like 3 or something, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
You might have lost it on death
Yeah.
or something. That might have happened.
That might
Remember?
have been the case.
Yeah, speaking of testing, remember when I showed you the meme weapon I found in Red Loot?
Yeah.
The stick weapon? That was really funny. I don't know what it does, but it's funny.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
In Chapter 3, one of the better weapons actually you get is the dungeon one. It gives you the 50% to evade physical attacks. Like, that's the level, like, utility the weapons have for abilities.
Yeah. It seems
dungeon
like
ones are way better.
Yeah, it seems like all the good ones are in the dungeon. That's what I was gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like.
Especially for shields.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like most of those are dungeon. And then it's like lockbox and then red loot stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I also have another funny story to share on here that you discovered the other day, Erie.
Yeah, what's up?
You figured out how you're supposed to get the Dokapon sword and shield in the game?
Oh, yeah. Not happening. Specifically the DX version of them, because there's actually 2 Dokapon swords and 2 Dokapon shields.
Uh-huh.
The DX ones, you need to have, like, for the sword, the DX version, you have to have every weapon at least once and have it equipped. And I'm not sure if you could just buy them all at once in the weapon store and call it a day, or you have to leave the weapon store and come back. Because I'm not sure how it categorizes it, how it tells that.
You know,
because at the end of the game, it's why it shows how many weapons you had.
Yeah.
Same with shield.
It'd be nice if there was a tracker you could check, like, your D-goods, actually, if you really wanted to go for it.
Also, what's funny is, if you do get one of those weapon and shields, you pretty much just win, because they give you 500 stat, whatever they are. Attack. So 500 attack or 500 defense, which is just overkill.
Yeah. Also, the Dokapon ground is in the game, but it's called the Dokapon Jewel.
Mm-hmm.
And how you get it is you have to get all the D-goods in the game, at least once.
Mm-hmm.
And
you don't have to worry about the trophies, thankfully.
No, just the normal D-goods. And it gives you 10 million value and 50 in all your stats.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get it, you pretty much just win the game, because you have enough value.
You get 500 HP, I believe, specifically.
Yep, 500 HP and 15 everything else. Yep.
Yep.
Pretty gross, honestly. You probably won't ever get it in the game, though, if you ask me.
You're definitely not doing it in a speedrun setting.
No, because, like, people will just go rush the game.
Yeah, like, if you're trying to get the extra chapters, you probably might not get it. And also some of the, like, the trophy, like, the treasures you have to get from beating certain enemies, like the sheriff.
Yeah, you need the sheriff's badge is one of them, yeah, which is hard to get. I think there are ways to, like, cheese the sheriff, though. Like, if you have...
if you have Super Drain, he'll always press a magic card kind of thing.
Yeah, and then you can use ability, basically.
You need to be able to kill him with magic, basically. Then he always presses it.
Or you hit him with ability that drains them to 90.
Because his AI is hard-coded to always, like, counter or magic defend.
Mm-hmm. He never seems to push defend, it seems like.
Yeah, he won't press it, unless you have an ability, like, that would force it, kind of thing.
And then it's like a 50-50, basically.
Mm-hmm. Like, you know that spear thing that lowers them to 10%? He would probably press defend if you have that.
Yeah.
He'll just strictly do what's best.
In the test file where I killed the sheriff, and he countered, and I hit ability, and then I brought him down, and then I hit him with normal attack to kill him.
Mm-hmm. Like, if you get the right setups, he's actually easiest, like, hard enemy to beat in the game since he's consistent. You know what he's gonna do.
I actually hit him with a 10% sleepy time, but my wanted status ended next turn, so I couldn't land on him. It was sad.
Aww.
Yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, the field magic seems to be hard-coded in the sense of, like, if you hit or miss, that doesn't change with frames.
Yeah.
That I tested as well. That seems to be one of the few things that's not affected by frames.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things they calculate at the start.
Yeah. If you hit or miss a field magic on an opponent or enemy, yeah. That seems to be very consistent as well in the game.
Yeah. I'll be right back.
Alright. But yeah, there's also another funny thing is one of the playable characters, Vent, you actually don't unlock until you beat the game at least once as well.
Correct.
That's
and he's probably one of the most cracked characters in the game.
Yeah, if he's not the best, he's probably like second or third, probably.
Probably Tap is second best, followed by Lucio.
Yeah, Tap's top 2. Tap's so good. Like, oh my god, Tap just fucking hits like a truck. He's so good. Gets 2 attack without pumping. It's like, wow, Jesus, so much. Then you would say what? It's like probably Gamamaru after, probably.
Lucio then Gamamaru. Because Gamamaru can fall off a little harder than Lucio does late game.
He's really good early game though, holy shit. He steamrolls early game though. But yeah.
If only he had a better late game.
Yeah. I think the worst character is Wee Wee though.
Razuli if you don't understand, Wee Wee if you do.
Yeah. But assuming you know what you're doing, or like in a best case scenario kind of thing, I still think Wee Wee's the worst, personally, because there's no consistency.
Actually, in my head, I think Birkin and Lucio are about the same, because one is a more immediate solution to the problem, getting rid of bad statuses, and the other one is just stalling until it gets rid of it.
Birkin's not bad either, though. Birkin's good. And Birkin gets 1 HP and 1 defense. And defense, you might actually want to start getting over HP at some point in the game. Is the thing.
Alrighty, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Ugh.
We were talking about how good each characters are, like who we think might be the best in Showcase.
Oh, yeah. Who have you talked about yet at the moment?
We talked most of them. I was saying like the best ones are like Lucio, like Tap, obviously, then like maybe Vent. Vent might be second or third best, in my opinion. He seems good.
I think Vent might be
The
second
only problem with Vent, which this isn't shitting on him, is when you're far ahead, his ability kind of feels like it does nothing. So he's kind of a better character when you're behind.
Yeah.
Because in our game with Shiro, like, my ability really didn't do anything because everyone was too afraid of me, kind of thing. Which in of itself is good, but like, you're not using it. You're kind of just a character with no ability.
You're basically just a mixed character with getting passive magic. Which is do you think?
Which is still fine, but just sad.
You think Lucio is the best character?
Probably, just because that healing is really good, but you could definitely play around it.
Yeah, I think like if it's not her, it's probably like Tap. Tap's really good.
Tap and Lucio. Vent's probably up there, and
And then
Garmaru's
Garmaru's
definitely
right
disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, if we're talking about early game, Garmaru and Tap are the best.
Yeah.
We're talking late game, Lucio and Birkin, and then Vent are, like, really good. Razuli is, I'll be honest, the economy is what fucks her.
Yep. I think
I'll be honest, probably the best way to play her is to actually just pick weapons for their abilities more often than not.
Yeah.
Not worry about their actual stats.
Or get weapons for passive just to give her magic, kind of thing.
And you want to, basically what you want to do is like, if you're gonna, like, you want to pick magic that does guaranteed damage and, like, the spear to set them to 10% HP, that way the enemies will not sometimes press defend. And you can maybe do a strike build.
You know what actually weapon would be great with Razuli? The Reaper Scythe.
Yeah.
Because if you get the proc, then you just use magic to finish them off, like, after. Thing.
As long as they don't have 100% magic guard, that's a really good weapon for them.
Yeah, because you just use the scythe, and then she'll either kill if she has enough attack. If not, get the proc and then use magic. Finish them off with magic.
I'll be honest, how you build her is probably, depending on how you want to play.
Yeah.
If you're playing with field magic, which is what you should be doing with her, is probably HP, speed, and defense, probably. And get attack if you feel like you need it. But I feel like you're not playing Razuli correctly then at that point.
I just think Wee Wee's the worst character, though, in my opinion. Like I mentioned, it's
one of those, you need to play the social game with that character.
It's not just that, but he's so inconsistent. Like, what he gets, it's like, I don't know what I'm gonna get. You know, I could just get...
Once he becomes a problem is pretty much when you pretty much get targeted out of the game.
Yeah, because then he's duping all these things you don't like that he's doing.
Because the game's so fast, you can't leave him alone for a second, kind of thing.
Yeah, you better be making some good deals. That's all I'm gonna say. Or be better being the hat of the game.
Yeah. Like, even at the start of the game, because that one guy gives you down immediately, if you get that down, you already have a target on your back.
You already have a problem. It's like, you better use that down or sell it. You better not dupe that down as Wee Wee, or I'm gonna target you. You better sell it.
If you're playing against AI, Wee Wee is probably one of the better characters, but against players that won't tolerate his shit, he's not good.
And then the fact that he gets random stats just kind of, like, cuck your build, and it's like, yeah, honestly.
Like, at least this is the one game where all the stats have a purpose, so it doesn't feel bad, but it's also one of those, the consistency is what matters more than anything.
The problem is it might mess up with what you're trying to do, kind of build, and then it's like, I have to pump this stat because he gave me this.
Like, if it just constantly keeps giving you magic and defense and you weren't wanting to do that, you're kind of like, well, shit, what the fuck?
Well, now my game plan changes, yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Like, if you were doing like an offensive build and then you get magic, it's like, well, I wasn't planning on this. I wasn't gonna do magic.
Yeah, I think you pretty much need to be able to do everything, which is painful.
Yeah.
You need to be able to have a second's notice change how you're going, which means you're gonna be a rounded character, which is not good usually. Because you're gonna be good at everything, but not a master at anything.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he's
definitely dependent on weapons, I'll say that much, their abilities.
He's a very awkward character, definitely.
Yeah.
Because he's the kind of character you have to, like, work with what they give you with him. You kind of just can't do what you want.
I would assume at level 40 you would probably get, like, you get 2 stats a level, so it's like, you'll probably have 80 stats to spread out almost evenly, usually, so that means you're probably getting, like, let's just assume 20 in each stat, and that's kind of just...
I feel like
then it might just pick one stat you don't care about either.
Yeah, I feel like the pump stat ring is more important on him compared to any.
Oh, definitely. It gets rid of that issue a bit.
I feel like it's between like him and Razuli.
Yeah. I'll be honest, Razzuli's just better than Wee when it comes to consistency, because you know you're getting magic, so you never have to touch it.
She is, but I think the pump stat ring would also be nice of her, because you're probably, on average, going to be pumping at least 3 different things, kind of thing.
You do speed early in HP, since you don't have time to focus on other stuff.
Yeah.
Then you get either attack or defense, depending on how you want to play.
Mm-hmm.
I think just playing pure defensively is better with her and using field magic.
Yeah.
Which implies you need to be making money, which means Casino's going to be your best friend.
You could be using, like, field magic on bosses, and then, or if you get, like, the Reaper Scythe, like I said, you use a Reaper Scythe, they don't have 100 M guard, they die, basically.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Depending on how you build, you basically have to get either a situational magic or a weapon that does damage. Like, you need a weapon or your magic attack to do damage, regardless how you build her. You need a magic damage like that goes based off your stat, otherwise you're not taking advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have Super Drain, you kind of need to get a weapon ability that also hits hard, because that will probably force the enemy to always magic guard.
Mm-hmm.
Which should mean you should get guaranteed regular attacks and strikes.
Because it seems like the enemies, the AI actually is not bad in DX. They like to pick good options.
Unless it's Wallace.
Oh, Wallace throws, but besides Wallace.
You can do whatever you want to Wallace, usually.
Wallace loves throwing. That's his favorite pastime.
He's really scared of the abilities that don't even hit, that he needs to fend for. It's funny.
Remember when
he just loves that button.
Remember when he magic guard when I had Pilfer? That was funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know what's up with Wallace. Just assume he's like Kingdom AI. You're better off just like doing whatever to like attack usually. That's the only reason probably attack builds are better in some regards, because Wallace is so dumb.
Wallace loves throwing. It's like, doesn't matter. He kills them.
Mm-hmm. Because even if you're not building attack, you'll probably kill him in 2 turns.
Yeah, usually because how pathetic his stats are, it's fine.
Yeah, and since how he works, they usually have a scary magic and then a scary ability that's also based on magic, so you just always press the magic defend button. And then if you have good defense and HP, you're pretty much fine.
But yeah, most of the Wallaces aren't that scary, even with their abilities, because then you just push the button to block it. Like the Chapter 3 one actually has Charm, but it's like you can actually block it with M guard, so it's like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
When it comes to DX, when it comes to this gameplay and building, it's really just dependent on pretty much what the players do for the most part. If you see someone actually like normally don't get magic on level up and they're doing magic, you kind of need to pay attention to it a little bit and see what they're doing.
Yeah. I will
Because
say
that's usually a sign you need to give a shit about your magic defense. Or maybe if they're rich and have a lot of money, you need to pay attention to the fact that you might get field spammed if you haven't been paying attention to your speed.
Yeah, they definitely give you wiggle room for pumping stuff, that's for sure. Because they give you like 5, which is crazy, you know?
Mm-hmm. Like at the start of any level, if you're behind, you can kind of switch gear to whatever else you want to do, if you really need to.
Yeah, and then Darkling is also a nice catch-up mechanic, what we talked about. Like, I feel like... I think DX has, like, the second best Darkling, in my opinion.
Fair.
Because Kingdom Darkling is disgustingly really good.
Yeah, it's unfair at times. Until late game. But by then it's like...
By then it's like, you kind of have to kind of moment sometimes.
Darkling at the final chapter actually here is actually not that bad.
Yeah, because you can steal stuff since there's not much going on. Because I forgot to mention this, there's no mines in the final chapter.
The only thing you really get is killing Wallaces that give you barely any money and just levels, basically. But at that point of the game, you can kind of get that money faster just from doing casino, to be honest. Like, if you successfully guessed on the casino once, you pretty much made what the Wallace is going to give you for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, if you can keep consistently landing on casino, you'll make more than what the Wallaces will give you by a long shot.
The only thing that will give more is, like, the final Wallace, I'm pretty sure.
The final Wallace gives, like, 500 or something.
I think it's 600,000.
Yeah. Either way, it's good, but it's not, like, worth dying for.
You know what it does? I mean, you know what it does do in the game, and it stops people from doing casinos.
Mm-hmm.
That in itself.
Yep, it's worth rushing to stop casino players, but if you're like not in a winning position, you're not worth going for it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
If you can kill the final boss, though, that's a different story.
Yeah.
Because that money will add up.
Plus, you get an end game bonus for killing it, which also scales off the week, which might be really good as well.
Like, killing the final boss, you get, like, pretty much... The boss itself gets 200, then at the end you get, like, 800,000 or something, so basically $1 million for killing the final boss. And then plus whatever bonuses that are there. The bonuses actually matter in this game.
Yeah, they're decent in DX.
Like, they're actually worth thinking about. Like, not, like, so hard that you have to keep track of what you're doing, but if you know you've been dying a lot in the game, you're definitely getting some money later.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you've been speedrunning the game, you actually do get a lot of rewards for doing that.
Yeah, because one's killing the most red monsters, I'm pretty sure. That's a bonus.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's,
highest level.
highest level? No, that was Kinson, actually. I don't think that was in DX. No. I don't think that was Kinson, actually, because we were like, bro.
Yeah. Oh, what was it? I think it was something battle related.
It might have been it was either most eggs or most red monster kills, but I don't remember.
Most eggs, probably, which is what I was thinking of, probably.
Most deaths is one. I know that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. That one doesn't get nearly as much as the others, but you still get something for it.
Yeah.
I think they give you like 400,000.
We should next time we finish a game, we should like write down all the in-game bonuses for DX, like what they are in particular. We should definitely write that down.
The thing I need to continue is the bestiary thing.
Yeah, we need to work on that as well.
It's not too hard doing the tutorial area because they don't have any abilities, so it's kind of like, okay.
They seem to like reskinning in that game. I noticed with like enemies, like the horses, for example.
Yeah, they usually have 3 color variants at most for an enemy before they stop using it.
They also had like the little ghost enemy reskin, like the red one, the blue one, etc.
I think there's a yellow one as well, but it's not common.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Forget where that one is, though.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I would say, personally, compared to other Dokapon games, it's alright. It's okay, in my opinion. It's definitely a game you can't really take that seriously compared to other Dokapon games also. Cause
the reason I enjoy it as much as I do is it's pretty fast, so...
Yeah, it's short.
It's not like a big commitment.
Yep, that is true. It definitely has that going for it.
Like, depending on how long you do, what you're doing in the game, you could probably beat it in 3 sessions.
2 to 3 sessions.
If it gets super competitive at the end, maybe 4 sessions, because some people might want to try casinoing, and you might have some squabbles. Yeah.
And then you argue about not going in or not, kind of thing.
Yeah. That feels like a common theme in a lot of Dokapon games.
Yeah, the only reason I don't think it's as bad in DX is you don't have to give anything up for going in. Like, you don't sacrifice anything, at least in the
Yeah, everyone can try.
Yeah.
And at least going in to try and steal the kill is not a bad idea.
Especially if you have, like, the last trophy. Because then you'll have...
Oh, yeah. You have guided warp, you just do it.
Yep, you just go in and just warp everywhere.
It's not consistently high %, Like, I feel it's at most like a 10% chance of happening. It's not
really though. Only need it to happen one time though, and that's it. You only really need to have.
Yeah, like I had it happen outside the dungeon and had a crystal set up because of it. So yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when you got it, when you entered the final room and then you landed on top of the final boss. I'm like, wow, that is cringed. Wow.
Yeah.
You were just like, whoop, hello, and then you stole the kill.
Yeah, we could have fought each other, but let's be honest, it would have not went well.
No, it would have went horrible. I was like, no.
Both of us could have died to that boss if we did that shit, which would have just taken longer. And whoever killed the boss was gonna win, kind of thing. So it's like, there's no point in fucking with each other.
Yeah, pretty much. Because you didn't have any on-hand cash because you put it all in the bank before you went in. So I wouldn't have gotten anything fighting you kind of thing.
You could take, like, my shield, I guess.
Yeah.
But, like, there's a good chance it would have just killed you if you tried.
It would have killed me, and then it's like, well, I guess we're not finishing this game tonight kind of moment, huh?
Yeah, because then if I get fucked, then the boss is gonna full heal, we have to go all the way back in.
Yeah, and yeah, go through that dungeon again. It's like, okay, well.
Like, you definitely want to just have another person. It's like, who's your competition is, just accept at that point. If it's a 50-50, just hope for the best.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I wasn't that upset. What I was upset at was getting scammed by the Scythe, though, in our other game.
Yeah, that, with the Shiro game, yeah, that was...
Yeah. I actually got scammed by the game.
That was a three-way race for whoever killed the boss, and you just got scammed out of it.
Yeah, because we did the calc area. I would have beat Shiro by $30,000. We did the calc. Barely would have won by 30K. Like, oh my god.
Yep. And I had more money than you, so I definitely had it if I got it.
Yeah, you stole second by what, like 9K or something stupid? Hold on, I need to look again. Let me check that.
And it was because of the bonuses, actually, I believe, because of some stuff that happened.
You beat by 13K. I got scammed out of second because 13K as well. Actually,
I think you had more bonuses, but I did get one bonus, which mattered.
Oh, no. You know what actually messed me up? Wallace stole 200K and it was done.
Oh, that's what it was, yeah. Because your bonuses, the bonuses was what saved you, but Wallace stealing you fucked you. Yeah, that's right.
Because he stole it as the non-transform one. But then he transformed, so the money got deleted, basically.
Which is mean.
Yeah, that was actually cringe. That was so annoying.
I get why they do that, to stop first. And it actually makes first not as, like, bad in that chapter, in the sense of if someone else is first, because they're probably losing all their money.
True. But he stole from me and not Shira, so it's like, wow, that's cringe. He stole from me. Like, wow.
You'll still pick, like, top first two people, usually.
Yeah. But, yeah. I will say this game, you can kind of have relatively decent Dokapon knowledge to play it. It's not, I would say it's one of the more easier ones. It's just, I don't know if it's your kind of game, like, thing, is my only issue. Like, I don't know if people will be able to handle the levels of salt in this game compared to the other ones.
I would just say, if you play it, expect Mario Party levels of chaos.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely. No questions.
Because Wallace just is like, time to troll.
Wallace is just chance time on a stick, basically.
Yeah.
he's just chance time on a stick, and he's like, well, I guess I'll do this today. Because I feel like it.
You know, I feel like dying today for that guy that has like 50 attack in chapter 1. That sounds good.
Yeah, I feel like using psychokinesis and put him on the sleeping person, because why not? Even though the other person's technically in the lead. Sure, I guess.
Yeah. Like, Wallace doesn't care at all what's going on in the game, usually, unless you have a lot of cash, and he's like, it's mine.
Yeah, and then also, and then in the other game with the sheriff, it's like, yeah, I'll miss him, and then put the sheriff and the other person who didn't rob on top of the Darkling, because that makes sense.
Yeah. So they just love throwing your magic attack on you.
Yeah, they love using your items and your magic attack.
And also your buffs, if you have any, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I see you have a magic buff. I want that. I'm curious if they can use your magic medicine. That'd be hilarious. If they go to 1 HP. That'd be hilarious.
That would be gross and disgusting. But...
like, you're fighting Wallace is like, oh, I want that magic medicine.
Oh, it'd be so
because there's actually 2 magic medicines this game. The regular one and then the 3x one. Imagine he uses a 3x1. Like, ugh.
Was that like the one that translated as like hero's medicine or something like that?
Yeah, I think so. It's one of the things you get actually from the final dungeon, so you can actually go get that as well.
How did that one work? Did it take a bit to work, or I forgot how that one worked? That magic.
That one works instantly. The other one that you're thinking of is a chance-based one that does something random that might give you stats or something. It's kind of like mystery, but it just tells you whether or not it succeeded or failed, and then later it happens.
That's so weird. That's a weird item.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what all that thing could do, but I just know it definitely messes with your stats.
Mm-hmm. Very odd indeed.
Yeah, let's just say super magic medicine or whatever, that one's disgusting. If you get that, you can beat at whatever enemy you want to fight, because the Darkling stats is actually based on your current stats times 3, I believe.
Yeah,
or it's 5, I forget. Either way, if you get the times 3 magic medicine, you can fight a Darkling easily.
Yeah. Well, we got about, I think, 4 minutes left, so I'll kind of just wrap it up here soonish, but I will say, though, is that Dokapon DX is a very weird and interesting game. I didn't know much about it. I think we first played it because actually you wanted to play it because you were messing around.
Yeah.
I was like, this game's really weird. We should try it. I was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
Yeah. I don't regret playing it. Like, it was weird, sure, but it was fun to at least talk about and look at, kind of thing.
It's a fun game to look at, but I will say this, is that as more information becomes apparent in that game, I will only feel that, like, either I'll feel that it's a game I can't take seriously, or it's one of the most interesting interpretations of Dokapon I've seen in a long time. Because it's definitely not like any of the games before it, and it's most definitely not like any of the games after it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I can agree with that.
Feels like they were legitimately wanting to try something, which I can give it credit for. Such a shame that they messed up the economy for it, because if that was fixed, it'd be a lot better for enjoyment factor.
Wasn't it sandwiched between Ikari no Tekken and the World, I think, as far as release date?
I believe so.
That is such a weird game to be sandwiched between, like, those two games.
I think the reason why it is the reason it is because they wanted to get something out, but they still wanted to try, but they didn't have time for some stuff. Which would explain why the economy's so jank.
Yeah, because we looked in the game's code. It's possible it was going to be an N64 game based on...
It mentions N64 controllers in the files.
Yeah. And with how the graphics looks, it actually reminds me of like a late N64 game, honestly. But it's actually...
They probably just ported it over to GameCube the best they could.
Yeah. But yeah. I'll say...
it even talks about like the N64 mouse.
Yeah, like the one they used for like, what games was it? Like
not the hate thing or whatever, I forget what
I
it
hate
was.
you, Pikachu, but yeah. Actually, wasn't the N64 mic in there too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like for Hey You Pikachu, that used that.
Yeah, but, I don't know if it was in there. It was probably just in there in case you plug it in to tell you to unplug it, probably.
Yeah. But, anyways, that looks like that's probably what's gonna be all said today, based on what time we have left, but all I'll say is I'm glad to be back again with DokaNerds after a long hiatus. We might do another stream sometime explaining a little bit into details, maybe do a gameplay thing. And I will say, if you want to come to the Discord and talk, play Dokapon, do whatever, just click the link and come say hi. It's a lot of fun over here, and we do a lot of different things. You'll probably have fun over here.
Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Yeah, feel free to ask, even like after the The show is over, you could always just message us on the server. Hell, I don't care if you DM me, to be honest, if you have questions out there. But yeah.
On that note, we are approaching the last 15 seconds. Ugh.
My clock is ahead by 15 then, because it only just turned 8 to me.
Well, in these last and final seconds, we think to ourselves and ask, why in hell was Wallace created? And that is a great way
Pretty
to end
much.